In West Virginia folklore, the Mothman is a legendary creature reportedly seen in the Point Pleasant area from November 12, 1966, to December 15, 1967. The first newspaper report was published in the Point Pleasant Register dated November 16, 1966, titled "Couples See Man-Sized Bird, Creature, Something." The national press soon picked up the reports and helped spread the story across the country. The Mothman was introduced to a wider audience by Gray Barker in 1970, and later popularized by John Keel in his 1975 book The Mothman Prophecies, claiming that there were supernatural events related to the sightings, and a connection to the collapse of the Silver Bridge. The Mothman is the subject of regional folklore and popular culture. The 2002 film The Mothman Prophecies, starring Richard Gere, was based on Keel's book. An annual festival in Point Pleasant is devoted to the Mothman legend. History. On November 12, 1966, 5 men who were digging a grave at a cemetery near Clendenin, West Virginia, claimed to see a man-like figure fly low from the trees over their heads. This is often identified as the first known sighting of what became known as the Mothman. Shortly thereafter, on November 15, 1966, 2 young couples from Point Pleasant, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Millette, told police they saw a large black creature whose eyes glowed red when the car headlights picked it up. They described it as a large flying man with 10-foot wings, following their car while they were driving in an area outside of town known as the TNT area, the site of a former World War II munitions plant. During the next few days, other people reported similar sightings. 2 volunteer firemen who sighted it said it was a large bird with red eyes. Mason County Sheriff George Johnson commented that he believed the sightings were due to an unusually large heron he termed a shite-poke. Contractor Newell Partridge told Johnson that when he aimed a flashlight at a creature in a nearby field, its eyes glowed like bicycle reflectors, and blamed buzzing noises from his television set and the disappearance of his German Shepherd dog on the creature. Wildlife biologist Drive. Robert L. Smith at West Virginia University told reporters that descriptions and sightings all fit the sandhill crane, a large American crane almost as high as a man with a 7-foot wingspan featuring circles of reddish coloring around the eyes, and that the bird may have wandered out of its migration route. This particular crane was unrecognized at first because it was not native to this region. After the December 15, 1967, collapse of the Silver Bridge and the death of 46 people, the incident gave rise to the legend and connected the Mothman sightings to the bridge collapse. In 2016, WCHS-TV published a photo purported to be of Mothman taken by an anonymous man while driving on Route 2. Science writer Sharon A. Hill proposed that the photo showed a bird, perhaps an owl, carrying a frog or snake away, and wrote that, "There is zero reason to suspect it is the Mothman, as described in legend. There are too many far more reasonable explanations." Quote, analysis. Folklorist Jan Harold Brunvand notes that Mothman has been widely covered in the popular press, some claiming sightings connected with UFOs, and others claiming that a military storage site was Mothman's home. Brunvand notes that recountings of the 1966-67 Mothman reports usually state that at least 100 people saw Mothman, with many more afraid to report their sightings, but observed that written sources for such stories consisted of children's books or sensationalized or undocumented accounts that fail to quote identifiable persons. Brunvand found elements in common among many Mothman reports and much are older folk tales, suggesting that something real may have triggered the scares and became woven with existing folklore. He also records anecdotal tales of Mothman supposedly attacking the roofs of parked cars inhabited by teenagers. Some ufologists, paranormal authors, and cryptozoologists claim that Mothman was an alien, a supernatural manifestation, or a previously unknown species of animal. In his 1975 book The Mothman Prophecies, author John Keel claimed that the Point Pleasant residents experienced precognitions including premonitions of the collapse of the Silver Bridge, unidentified flying object sightings, visits from inhuman or threatening men in black, and other phenomena. Skeptic John Keel says that a number of hoaxes followed the publicity generated by the original reports, such as a group of construction workers who tied flashlights to helium balloons. Keel attributes the Mothman reports to pranks, misidentified planes, and sightings of a barred owl, an albino owl, suggesting that the Mothman's glowing eyes were actually red-eye effect caused from the reflection of light from flashlights or other bright light sources. The area lies outside the snowy owl's usual range. Festivals and statue. Point Pleasant held its first annual Mothman Festival in 2002, and a 12-foot-tall metallic statue of the creature, created by artist and sculptor Bob Roach, was unveiled in 2003. The Mothman Museum and Research Center opened in 2005 and is run by Jeff Wamsley. The festival is a weekend-long event held on the third weekend of every September. There is a variety of events that go on during the festival, such as guest speakers, vendor exhibits, a Mothman pancake-eating contest, and hayride tours focusing on the notable areas of Point Pleasant. In popular culture, The Mothman Prophecies, 2002, loosely based on the 1975 novel of the same name by John Keel. Mothman, 2010, a sci-fi original movie. Mothman was the focus of a segment on Unsolved Mysteries. Originally aired July 29, 2002. The Mothman is the subject of the Blitzkid song, Genus Unknown, in episode 2 of the short-lived TV series 10 Testers. The researchers attempted to duplicate alleged photographs of Mothman in the video game Castlevania: Dawn of Sorrow. Mothman is one of 3 cryptozoology-based monsters along with the Yeti and the flying humanoid. It appears again as an enemy in Castlevania: Portrait of Ruin. Mothman is a recurring demon in the Shin Megami Tensei franchise. The Italian independent hardcore punk band Echidna Orgy dedicated to Mothman a song of the same name. In the French novel, Les Yeux de l'Épouvante, The Eyes of the Terror, written by Jimmy Galliou in 1977, and published at Editions Fleuve Noir, the Mothman appears as character, clearly named like this, especially in Chapter 7. But in this book, he appears in France, in Var, near the Malmont. The title of the novel, The Eyes of the Terror, is directly about the dreadful red eyes of the Mothman. In Season 1, Episode 5 of Mountain Monsters, the crew of expert hunters and trappers attempt to capture the Mothman of Mason County, West Virginia. The Mothman was also in a Weirder What episode hosted by William Shatner that originally aired on September 26, 2011. Books. Barker, Gray, The Silver Bridge. Source: Arian Books. 1970. Reprinted in 2008, entitled The Silver Bridge, The Classic Mothman Tale. Book Surge Publishing. ISBN 1-4392-0427-6. Coleman, L. Mothman and Other Curious Encounters. 2002. ISBN 978-1-931044-34-9. or ISBN 1-931044-34-1. Colvin, Andrew. The Mothman's Photographer. The work of an artist touched by the prophecies of the infamous Mothman. 2007. ISBN 9781419652653. Colvin, Andrew. The Mothman's Photographer 2. Meetings with remarkable witnesses touched by paranormal phenomena, UFOs, and the prophecies of West Virginia's infamous Mothman. 2007. ISBN 9781419652660. Myers, Rowan Macklin. The Little Giant Book of True Ghost Stories. 2001. ISBN 0-439-33995-2. Sergeant, Jr., Donnie Mothman. The Facts Behind the Legend. 2001. ISBN 978-0-9S667246-7. Fear, Brad. A Macabre Myth of a Mothman. 2008. ISBN 978143890-263-0. Keel, John A. The Mothman Prophecies. 2007. ISBN 0-7653-41097-2. Originally published in 1975 by Saturday Review Press. Keel, John A. The Eighth Tower. 1977. ISBN 978-0-451-07460-7. Myers, Bill. Angel of Wrath. A Novel. 2009. ISBN 978-0-446-69800-9. Russell, Steve. Perverted Communion. 2010. ISBN 978-0-9787483-5-7. Bullard, Stefan. A.L. The Silver Bridge Disaster of 1967. 2012. ISBN 978-073859278-7. Wood, Jen A. Point Pleasant. 2013. ISBN 9781492121602. Schmidt, W. L. Threads of Faithfulness. 2013. ISBN 978162510-894-4. See also: Apparitional Experience, Flatwoods Monster, Owlman, Spring-Heeled Jack, Mothra, Ahul.